Okay, folks, it's 6 o'clock, and that's when we're going to get started. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Want to welcome everybody for coming tonight. This is definitely a record for us, the most people we've seen at a Parks, Rec, and Trails Commission. So we just want to thank you all for being here to the Thursday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo Parks, Rec, and Trails Commission. So with that, Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Absolutely. Altie Holcomb.
Here.
Richard Croy.
Here.
Commission Chair Bill Zimmerman.
Here.
Vice Commission Chair Tom Gidroyce.
Here.
Commissioner Marty Rosen.
Here.
All right, thank you very much. So we're going to go ahead and salute our nation's flag. If I could have this young man right here in the hat go ahead and stand up and lead us in the flag salute. Just say, ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. Good job. Okay, our next item is item 4, presentations. And so I think what we're going to do is do a little switch. We'll say item 4.1. We're going to introduce our new Parks, Rec, and Trails Commissioner. Robert, do you want to do the honors?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. Good evening, and good evening, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to welcome a new addition to this board, this commission. Last night during the City Council meeting, Councilman Greg August made his final selection and appointment of Altie Holcomb to join and make whole again this commission. And today is his first christening, so we'll go easy on him, I hope. But with that, I want to turn it over to him. He can say a little bit about himself and really his intent in serving on this board.
Good idea.
Well, good evening, colleagues and everyone in the audience. It's good to be here. It's good to be here on the first day when there's such a large audience. So I assure you, Bill had nothing to do with the size of this crowd, but anyway, everyone, good evening again, and my name is Altie Holcomb. My wife Tracy and I, we've lived here since October 2009. Just briefly about myself, I currently work for a state senator out of the city of Riverside. Before that, I taught Marine Corps Junior ROTC in Marietta Valley for a little while, and before that, I spent 20 years in the Marine Corps. The intent is really to serve you, the residents of this great city, and to do whatever I can to make this city better. I look forward to serving each and every one of you. So, again, thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome aboard, Mr. Holcomb. Okay, with that, our next item is item 4.2, and that's our pitch, hit, and run participant recognition. So I think what we'll do is have the commission go ahead and work our way around to the front for a photo op, and meanwhile, we'll hand it over to Mr. Hendricks to do the introductions and welcome up those recipients. So let's come on out.
Thank you, Chair Zimmerman, and we want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. I know a lot of you have games and tournaments and whatnot to be at, so we're going to make this as quick as possible. For those of you that don't know, on Sunday, April 17th, we had the Major League Baseball pitch, hit, and run competition at Audie Murphy Ranch Sports Park. We had a number of individuals participate, both from Menifee Pony and Menifee Valley Little League. And the individuals in the audience this evening are those that will be moving on to represent Menifee at the regional level, which is actually going to be held at Chino Hills on Sunday, May 15th. So first of all, let's give a big round of applause for everybody that advanced past this round. And I'm sure you all probably already know this, but those that advance past the Chino Hills competition will actually be going on to play at the Big A at Angel Stadium on Saturday, May 28th. So good luck to all of you. We have a certificate and an official advancement letter for all those that are advancing to the next level. Unfortunately, the volunteers that helped Christina and I put this event on were not able to make it this evening. They're probably out volunteering with something else. So we're not going to call them up just to get you guys out of here, but we do want to thank all the leagues for their participation and for helping out to make this happen, because without the league support, we wouldn't have had near the turnout we did. We ended up with 89 athletes participating. 130 showed up, so I know it was the same day as the tournament in Colton, I think it was. So we're unfortunately going to get all the kids that had signed up, but 89 is a pretty good showing for our first year, so we hope to build off that next year. So we're going to call up each individual athlete. They will come up, get their certificate from Christina, and then they'll shake all the commissioners' hands. We will ask them to stick around just for a couple minutes afterwards for a group photo. So please just stick around for a few minutes. We'll get through this really quickly. First up in the softball division, 7-8-year-olds, we have Kaylee Narcisse. Sorry if I butchered the name. Kaylee advanced for the run competition as well as the overall competition. Next up, we have Adeline Jackson. Next up in the hitting category, Mariah Espinoza. Mariah also won the overall competition, so congratulations, Mariah. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Real quick, if we just have everybody stay up, we're going to do a group shot here at the end, so I'm going to get out of the way, and if you guys can just stay up here for a couple minutes. Gabriela Valdez won the run competition. Come on up, Gabriela. In the 11, 12-year-old softball division, in first place for the pitch competition, McKenna Jackson. McKenna actually swept this category. She won pitching, hitting, running, and overall. So, pretty amazing accomplishment. In the 13, 14-year-old division, in first place for the hit competition, Haley Mole. In first place in the run competition, we have Geraldine Wells. She can't make it, so I believe somebody's accepting for her. Geraldine Wells, is her family here? Geraldine also won the overall category as well, so congratulations to Geraldine. Moving on to the baseball division and 7-8-year-olds, in first place in the pitch competition, Austin Hewer. In the hitting competition, Gail Contreras. In the run competition, Lucas Tello. And the overall winner in this division was Austin Hewer. Once again, just a reminder, please stay up here so we can get a group picture at the end. In the 9, 10-year-olds, in first place for the pitching category, Justin Allen. In the run competition, Jackson Baker. And in overall for this division, we had Chapman Weber. The 11, 12-year-olds, we had quite a few ties, so congratulations to all the winners. In first place for the pitching, Ian Cook and Jake Christian Wells. In the hitting category, Ryan Schubert. And the overall 11, 12-year-old was Jake Christian Wells. And finally, in our 13, 14-year-old age group, for the pitching category, we had a 3-way tie. Wyatt Wilkerson, Ethan Kirby, and Ryan Buchanan. I don't think Ryan could be here this evening. In the hitting category for 13, 14-year-olds, Michael Downtain. In the running category, we had Joseph Cherry. And last but not least, again, in the overall, I don't think he's here, but Ryan Buchanan. Let's hear one more time for Ryan. So these are your athletes who will be representing Menifee in the next category. Sorry, you forgot one. So again, last but not least, in the hitting category, Randall Eller. So these are your athletes who will be representing you next Sunday in Chino Hills at the regional competition. So good luck to everybody. Can we get the younger kids up real quick here in the front of the commissioners? We want to make sure we get everybody in. Or quick picture for Facebook. All right, great job. Thanks, everybody. And parents, thank you very much for bringing your kids out. I know there's homework and dinner and all that, practices, games. Thank you for coming out and supporting your kids.
That is the fun stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. Outside play tomorrow.
It's like a military house, but yeah.
Live and breathe.
You heard of him?
Yeah. It's cool.
All right, well, oh gosh. So, you guys doing something?
Okay, guys, you ready to continue on? Now that our audience numbers are back to normal. That's right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So now we're on item 5, approval of meeting minutes from April 7th. Do you have any revisions or changes to that?
I move that we
None.
accept the minutes of April 7.
Well, we have one spelling error.
Where is that?
Bottom paragraph, last sentence, applicant to include train.
That's on page 2 at the
Page
bottom. We'll change that to trail.
In that case, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of April 7th with that one correction.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Croy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, our minutes are approved. Any agenda modifications, Robert?
None.
We're good, okay. And do we have any public commenters, speaker slips? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 8, discussion item, 8.1, plot plan 215-53, application review for All-Star Super Storage.
Thank you, Chair. The report before you and for consideration this evening is the conditional use permit number 2015-156, which proposes the expansion of an existing 190,689 square foot public storage facility within the development of a 15 additional buildings, having a combined area of 225,674 square feet on a 9.77 vacant acres of acre lot located south of the existing facility. Excuse me. The project is within the city of Menifee, and the site is bound as follows: self-storage facility known as All-Star Super Storage, and vacant land beyond to the north. Vacant land formerly used as the nursery to the south, Hahn Road to the west, and the Interstate 215 freeway to the east. Project APN is 360-350-029. Pursuant to the resolution 16-500, Parks, Recreation, Trails, Open Space Master Plan identifies a regional trail, Class 1, along Hahn Road. Despite that, staff has reviewed the plan and has some comments, namely the relocation of the trail that's currently identified on the preliminary planting phasing plan on the east side of the road, but moving it to the west side of the road, not to be installed or by the responsibility of the applicant, but of a future applicant on the other side of the road. The only additional comments would be to ensure that the vacated space does include landscaping as well as street trees of one tree per every 30 feet per city standard. That concludes staff's notes on this, but we welcome any feedback from commission this evening, and that concludes my report.
Very good, thank you, Robert. So with that, you did, just to make sure all the commissioners see that there's another exhibit here that wasn't in our staff report that shows a little better detail, especially along Hahn Road. That's really kind of the consideration trail-wise. And can you just clarify, Robert, is there a sidewalk that's shown, proposed along this east side of Hahn?
Yeah, there is actually a sidewalk and trail proposed along that side. As I mentioned, though, the Class 1 with off-street bike trail would include sidewalk, landscaping, and asphalt bike path, which is exactly what exists on Hahn further north. Okay. And so the master plan calls for that to be continued from Wickards Road all the way up to Newport.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the clarification. Let's see, it looks like we have Commissioner Rosen.
Just a question concerning the cost of creating the trail. The trail was supposed to be on that side. We're moving it. Are we going to insist that these developers pay part of it, even though it's on the other side?
Not this applicant. It's not staff's recommendation to have this applicant pay for that. It would be the responsibility of an applicant on the other side in the parcel directly opposing.
And the fact that we're taking up 9-something acres of property right on the interstate, Planning Commission has approved this?
They have the responsibility. You have to recall this is a part of the economic development corridor, so this is a acceptable use of that space.
Okay.
And our purview is parks and trails, although I've been guilty of talking
Me
about
too.
going beyond our,
Yeah.
Rick.
Just a question also. Since this is commercial, there are no Quimby fees required of the development?
They're not.
Okay.
The continuation of the trail further up to Wickard, is that on the same side of the road or the opposite side?
The current alignment is on the west side of the street, and we wanted to continue that all the
Okay,
way
so
up.
be, okay, continuous, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Can I ask for a motion?
This is just comment. There is no,
Also, for your consideration, the larger attachment that I provided, last page of it, is a map of our trails network that was part of the master plan, just so that you can refer to that. I'll always provide this, of course, when we review projects like this, so that you have point of reference. And then I'll put that on this, hold on, let me turn this on. It's on the screen as well, and I've highlighted the area in which this project is at.
At some time, Robert, it would be wise, I believe, and it'd be an exercise, but for us to, early in the game, go through each one of these and determine which side of the road that it's going to be on, and not wait until we have an applicant that's saying, oh, it should be on the other side or something like that, and put everybody in the middle of a fight.
Step ahead of you. Next fiscal year, it's our intent to do a contract for a consultant to come in and do all of that citywide. Every single network that's listed on this proposed trails map would be vetted. They go out and GPS them, get exact distances, segments, and then also do the dirty work of finding out what exists, what doesn't. Is it in public right-of-way? Is it private? All of those. So that is on our list as part of next year's CIP.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that, thank you.
I am too.
Not a quick comment. Along Hahn Road, south of where the shops of Scott are, there is a little DG trail on the east side. So with everything that's going to happen there, will the trail continue north of Scott? Will it be on the west side all the way up? Obviously, the important thing is continuity in a hiking trail or, walking trail. So I think Bill's exactly right. We need to further identify that because as things move along, nobody's going to want to pay for it. Oh, it's the other guy's responsibility.
So to answer that question, the next item on the agenda will actually address it a little bit more clearly for the area south of it.
In addition, being a regional trail, is there points along this that are going to give people a place to park their car, get access?
The segment is actually yes and no. The commercial opportunities that exist along here would come with parking alternatives. Right now, I understand one of the challenges is when folks want to use the Paloma Wash Trail, they end up finding a little, niche somewhere
That's
to
my
park.
point.
Yeah, and it works okay for now because it's not hugely popular. It is popular, not hugely popular, and they stagger their use. But as we continue to grow and you have more commercial use, more commercial development, those parking lots would become available for folks to use. Yes.
Okay, so we really have to still work on finding a way to get more parking in there, staging area, if you want to call it that.
Specifically for this trail, yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
And I would expect also people who are going to work in that commercial area may want to use it, say, for a walk at lunchtime or something like that. So, as a trail, would there be any chance of having amenities along of it, say like benches, things of that sort for folks?
The only challenge with that is the width of that right-of-way isn't big enough to accommodate all of that. Some segments may be wide enough, some aren't.
I would suggest if we could, to get a few things like that in there.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Can I get a motion? I guess we're not, you want to get a sense of the commission, or do you want to hear us vote to approve the parks and the trails portion of this?
So if there's no comment, then the motion could be to accept staff's recommendations and provide those to the applicant.
Yeah. I'll make that motion.
I have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor? Aye. Hearing no opposition, we will move on to our next item, which is item 8.2, conditional use permit 2016-78, change of zone 2016-79. Robert, you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you. This project proposes a development of a 14,000 square foot warehouse and office facility with a gravel yard on a 3.86 acre site. In addition to the gravel yard, outdoor storage is proposed to the north and west of the warehouse building. This is a 13,000 square foot warehouse, was permitted by the county in 2005 as a private garage. 6 foot tall block wall is proposed around the north side and westerly boundary of the site. Retaining wall is proposed on a portion of the western property line. The site opposes 2 gated entrances off Ziders Road and 1 gated entrance off Cirillo Road. 8 foot wide DG trail is proposed in the parkway in addition to sidewalk and landscaping. On your screen and also in the larger map in front of you, you'll see the site plan, which is actually turned, so the north would be off to your left. And so what you see on the bottom portion of the map along Ziders is that somewhat of a meandering dirt DG trail with sidewalk that is curb adjacent and landscaping on either side. Staff's recommendation for this project is to eliminate the trail altogether and instead just replace it with landscaping, including meeting the city street tree standard of 1 tree per every 30 feet. The reasoning for that is apparent on the attached trails map, which identifies everything south of Wicker Road is not a trail. In fact, it's a regional bike lane class 2, which is essentially on-street bike lane. And to give a little more explanation of why, typically trails are limited to a radius around proposed park sites to allow for pedestrian access close to those facilities, walking distance, walking access as a priority. Everything else would be either driving or biking. And so that's why the recommendation is to not continue that DG trail south of Wickard. As was mentioned by the Commissioner on the prior item, there is an existing DG trail at that corner on the south side. The expectation is in the future to go in and remove that and replace it only with landscaping. Currently, that particular plot, that site is not maintained by the city. It's maintained by the property owner, and I would say not terribly well either. It needs some attention. But in the end, the plan here is to not have a trail on the south side at all. That concludes our comments.
Okay. Comments, questions? Commissioner Croy?
I have a comment. I always hate giving up trails.
That's the way I was feeling.
I always hate to see that, but knowing what the future is going to bring along there, it's where the commercial piece is going. And trails, in big industrial or commercial or that type of trail probably isn't a good idea because you don't want a horse walking in front of a semi-truck. There is another trail opportunity to the west of that, which I believe is Howard, I think when we looked at that. It's a purple trail. On the map there. Yeah, just west of it. But my concern is Keller Road right there, which is on the very south side. If we eliminate this, and this is the danger for me, is if we eliminate that trail, do we give up any connectivity or future ideas for putting the regional trail, which is supposed to be along Keller? That Keller Road connection is, for many decades, I've been fighting to keep that one alive because that's the only way to get up into those hills, aside from going down all the way to into Marietta.
My opinion is that it doesn't endanger the opportunity to do something along Keller. Again, the review is only for the Ziders location. And I think you said it better than I could have, which is that having that trail alignment along Ziders and Hahn, or I should say Ziders south of Scott, is a challenge only because we know the future for Scott is to widen and also make that a more robust interchange. And having a trail crossing there is equally challenging. So doing something on Keller instead is probably a better opportunity, especially in trying to connect folks up to, if you see that yellow box that's closest, this is really within about a half-mile radius. I believe that is, I'm trying to remember the name of this park. I don't have it on the list here.
Future Park.
Future Park, I'm sorry, yeah. That radius is how that's determined. The proximity of trails, walkable trails to that area is the radius around that future park. Right. But I agree, it does not endanger the opportunity to do the Keller improvements. What we would do is any developments along there, we would have those folks conditioned to help with the building of the trail there.
Okay, Commissioner Rosen.
I haven't had a chance to tell anyone, but I have finally gotten permission to discuss the Keller Road connection with Marietta. The mayor has called me, and the mayor of Marietta has called me and told me that he is setting it up with their counterpart in Trails, and I will grab Rick, and he and I are going to meet with them and try to get them to agree to some kind of joint effort to get that finished. If they would just pay for the area in Marietta and we pay for the area in Menifee, it might work out very nicely. So I just wanted you to know that that is in the works for the next week or so.
All right, thanks for that update. So getting back to this plan then, Robert, the applicant came in and proposed what we're looking at right here, is that correct?
Correct.
And there's existing curb and gutter, and they were going to actually do sidewalk and DG trail.
Correct.
And instead, staff's recommending that they just eliminate sidewalk and DG trail, or just the DG trail?
Just the DG trail and replace it with the landscaping.
Okay. So sidewalk will remain.
Yes.
Good. I think it's fine, as long as, the purpose and the point of DG trail is for equestrian. And if we can make a reasonable assumption that there really wouldn't be any horses here because of what's happening surrounding this site, there's really not a point. Does that, everybody agree with that?
I agree.
I would just like to see some money way of, we're telling them they don't have to put in the DG trail, which is an expense. Shouldn't we at least ask them to throw some funds in so that we can use it elsewhere in the city?
Well, technically, they don't have the requirement, and asking them to do it would really be from the kindness of their hearts. They do have a list of conditions outside of trail improvements that they have to meet. So they are providing the city with other improvements relative to the right-of-way as a requirement of the project. So the city does get something from it. The residents do get something from it. It just doesn't happen to be trail in this case.
Parks?
No, not parks, not for commercial site.
That's why I said money, so we could put the park somewhere else.
Unfortunately, legally, we don't have a lot of grounds to require much beyond.
Commissioner Croy?
Which goes to the discussion in the future of maybe getting commercial development to contribute some sort of fee in lieu of fee, because commercial isn't always necessarily appropriate to recreational amenities, but they have impacts because they bring people, and where people are coming, they want to recreate, so, that's something that I think the council's going to have to struggle with.
Commissioner Gidroy?
Well, following what Commissioner Croy is saying, folks who work at these commercial sites will use our recreational facilities, including trails. So it stands to reason that there's a logical line there. As far as what we're getting out of this is just that they're going to meet up with the city's requirements. We'll get a tree every 30 feet, which is something. But we should think in the long view that there should be a connection between commercial and the fact that they'll also be users of our recreational facilities.
Commissioner Rosen?
May I suggest that we add that to a future discussion? The concept of putting some kind of fee, if you will, on the commercial so that we can use that fee either to improve or enhance parks or trails in other areas of the city. With a recommendation to the council, of course.
Yeah, and maybe I can provide a little clarification. Typically, there's two fees that are assessed upon, or two categories of fees that are assessed upon developments, whether they be commercial or residential. One is development impact fees, and the other is the potential for Quimby, right? And so the context of this discussion, my assumption has been in the context of Quimby. Please know that commercial are also obligated to do development impact fees. And so the city is currently doing a development impact fee study where they're revising all of these and trying to close in on what would be the most reasonable collection for impacts related to these types of projects, whether they be for trails, for parks, for streets, for anything else. And it sounds like that's the direction you're thinking. So my feedback is that's already in the works. The Quimby portion is a little bit different because of the way the Quimby code is written. We only apply that to the residential component, right? Because that's for dedication of land, not for the specific improvement of. So development impact fee process is in the works, and I've been told by our finance department that that should be wrapping up at the end of this fiscal year, meaning come July 1, we should have brand new development impact fees that could include all of those for commercial, residential, and everything in between.
Are we going to see that as a commission?
Yes, as soon as it's available to me, I'll bring it to you all.
Excellent. I withdraw.
Commissioner Holcomb, you have any ideas or thoughts?
No, I'm mostly in receive mode right now, just trying to suck everything in, and I don't think I'm in a good position to really comment on this. I'm still in the studying process at this point.
All right, and I just want to make sure you knew how to chime in. If you want to, just hit that RTS button.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. So with that, any other thoughts on this one? Commissioner Gidroy, go ahead.
One last thing, and tied into what you were just saying, Robert, we really might make this an agenda item. Valley White has a foundation. People donate to it just because. We might think about having a Menifee Parks and Recreation Foundation. Put it on the agenda.
Also on our list for next year.
Thank you.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, so what we're being asked to do on this item is to basically review and provide a comment and let that comment be transmitted or incorporated into the applicant package, and they can communicate our thoughts. Is everybody kind of in agreement with staff's recommendation to go landscape instead of DG in this frontage on Ziders? Everybody's yes? All right, so I think we're all in support. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Our next item is 8.3, and it's a discussion, Senior Friendly Parks Ad Hoc Committee. And I'm not sure where this came from or whose idea this was, but maybe you can give us an update, Robert.
Sure, and I'll actually end up turning this over to Community Services Supervisor Jason Hendricks. This is somewhat of a follow-up from our Senior Advisory Committee, who had a strategic planning session a couple times, and at the latest, about a month ago, they determined that it would be in their best interest to convene an ad hoc committee focused on informing, getting information from residents, and then informing this commission and our department of improvements and facilities that could benefit seniors specifically for all recreation amenities. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jason Hendricks.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, commissioners. Robert hit a lot of what I was going to speak about, but just a little bit of additional background is that the recommended action this evening for you gentlemen to take is to appoint 2 members of the Parks, Recreation, Trails Commission to join the 2 members of the Senior Advisory Committee as a part of this ad hoc committee to discuss senior-friendly parks. The first action is to discuss senior-friendly design ideas for new park development and provide direction to staff in the Senior Parks Ad Hoc Committee from the Senior Advisory Committee. That's more of going to be an operation after you guys select who you'd like your 2 members to be on this ad hoc committee. So really your only recommended action this evening is to appoint 2 members to this ad hoc committee. This evening I have, I'll be bringing her up in just a moment, we do have one of the great members of our Senior Advisory Committee here who's just going to give you a little bit of information on some of the views that they had when we went out a few months ago now. Actually, it was back in October. 3 of the members of the Senior Advisory Committee joined staff on a tour of most of the parks in the community. We didn't get out at all of them because we knew a lot of the features just by driving by them, but there were a few that we got out and toured a little bit, and they had some ideas of some things that we may be able to do to improve in the future, and that's what this ad hoc committee is all about. It was made official on March 22nd, as Robert mentioned. Chair Gloria Sanchez decided that she wanted to make this official and create this ad hoc committee with you gentlemen, and she appointed Ms. Arendine, who's here this evening, as well as herself to serve on behalf of the Senior Advisory Committee. And as most of the things that we do, whether it be recreation or parks, we try to use the Parks, Trails, Open Space, and Recreation Master Plan to guide us and the different amenities that we want to see and the different programming. And I specified in here, just going through that document, that on section 3.1, question number 2 of the stakeholders interview, they were asked, what are the most important services and facilities for residents in the future? And the respondents stated as one of their areas was programs for seniors, especially walking and hiking. So it's definitely something that the community feels is a big need. So this is something that I know the Senior Advisory Committee would like to continue to explore with your expertise as a part of that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Senior Advisory Committee member Victoria Arendine to come up and give you some of her views of the recent parks tour.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Again, my name is Victoria Arendine. I am a member of the Senior Advisory Committee, and I was fortunate enough to be part of the group that went out to look at all our current parks that we have here in the city of Menifee. And we noticed that there are a lot of areas where we could improve to provide easy access for our seniors to get out and exercise and walk. We don't really have too many trails that are easy for our walkers. And basically, we're looking not just for our current seniors, but also our future seniors that are coming out, our early retirements. We're looking at 55 plus. And we really don't have any really good hiking areas. I mean, we can go out to Diamond Valley, we can go to someplace else, but it would be nice to have something local for our residents here in Menifee. I have a lot of great ideas. I understand that a grant was approved for Lazy Park, I believe, Lazy Creek. And I'm really looking forward to work with the Senior Parks Ad Hoc Committee. Thank you. If you have any questions.
What do you see as the biggest challenge or need, immediate need? What's a quick win we could get here?
Well, I think we need a lot of just easy access for our seniors, trying to get them from the Case Scenarios Center across Newport. It's really difficult for them, and I noticed that a lot of our parks are on this side of Newport. We're in the process of hopefully trying to get some sort of a transportation for our seniors. But we really need to utilize our parks. Some of the ideas were basically, I don't know if you've seen some of these parks, the future parks, where they had some wooden benches, poles that they can get up and walk for those who are not have their balances. And we just really need to have those parks accessible, benches especially, where they can go out and sit. Maybe they can join areas where they can play softball or pickleball, something that give them more outside activity and just improve their quality of life, because the more they move, the better they're going to feel.
Victoria, if you'd stay at the podium, I think you may have a few more questions. And
Sure.
this is just going to be kind of a loosey-goosey thing because it's a new idea, and I think all of us are interested, so we want to talk to you more about it. Marty?
Thank you. The parks are ADA compliant. You want them to be more compliant?
Well, I think that we really need to look at our needs as far as, where we can be more compliant for our seniors and to.
What kind of senior are we referring to?
We're
talking
looking
about somebody who can't walk?
Well, no. Well, even if they cannot walk, if they're on wheelchairs, I mean, there's no accessible areas in some of our parks where it's just not as easily accessible.
That's true.
I got a question for you, Victoria. So, primarily, we have a large senior community in Sun City,
We
and then
do.
also the Oasis is the other big one. So are we trying to locate some new opportunities in those places, or are you thinking, let's do upgrades to existing parks that we already have? I'm not sure what.
The latter, yes.
Okay, upgrades to
Exactly,
existing.
yes,
All right.
yes. We would even like to see an indoor swimming pool for aquatics for our seniors.
You mentioned access, and you said something about transportation. I guess I'll put that to Jason. Are we talking about a van or something to help these folks get to the park?
One of the areas that was identified in the strategic plan, and I know Chair Sanchez and Member Wojtek are working with RTA to discuss some additional transportation options for seniors. So if the ad hoc committee that's created decided that they wanted to create an opportunity for a program that might want to go to a park to experience a park that maybe some of our seniors haven't been at because of mobility, that's something that we might be able to consider. Obviously, we'd have to find funding for that and some things like that. But I think what she was referring to is one of the items that was brought up at our strategic plan, specifically about senior transportation community-wide.
Thank you.
Commissioner Croy?
Just an idea, would it be a good idea to target maybe a specific park to have a design so that, seniors could really target this one park that is really geared for, low impact hiking or walking or something like that, or additional equipment? Maybe that would be an idea, is to, target a specific park.
And I think that might be where the expertise of both you gentlemen here and then their great ideas, because I'm telling you, they have some great ideas, can come together and really start to hash some of these things out and figure out some options and opportunities that exist or maybe don't exist that we're not aware of that we can start to explore.
I think we all have great ideas. I think the thing is to be a focus something and make something very nice so that you could duplicate it.
Sure. And I think that's part of the goal of Ms. Sanchez and Ms. Arendine's idea on this ad hoc committee, is to provide that opportunity to where it can be a little bit more of a brainstorming type session as opposed to a formal meeting. There's a chance for you guys to sit down, talk about these things, vet everything out, and then report back to the Youth Senior Advisory Committee and then the Parks, Recreation, Trails Commission as well.
Good evening, Victoria. Would the idea be to dissolve this ad hoc committee once certain benchmarks are met, or how long do you envision this ad hoc committee lasting?
That really depends on how successful we are as far as, because we do have our future seniors coming up. And I think that we should take a look at that in the future. But right now, we really would like to see something for our current seniors, just to get them out into the air and just get moving.
That's a good question. One of the things, probably 4 or 5 months ago, we talked about special needs park. And Linda Denver came and spoke to us about it. And then we talked about maybe even doing a field trip down and seeing one that was in Temecula. And I don't know whatever became of that, but we may get some ideas from that if that's something we do.
Yeah, we haven't forgot about it. I think once we get a little closer to next year's CIP process, you'll see an opportunity for one to be placed possibly over at Lau Marsh Park. And when we get to a design, conceptual design phase, that'd be the best time to do those visitations, so it's fresh in your minds.
Good.
I'd assume that when we do that, we could speak to the local officials who saw that park put together, because money is going to be an issue for special needs type equipment.
Luckily, staff is, we stay close to colleagues and others in those agencies, so, and I stole a couple, if you remember, so.
Yes. Good job.
And I also just like to add that I did, just kind of pulled up some sustainable equipment for outside weather. And I'd like to present that with the ad hoc committee. So there's all kinds of great ideas on some of the things that we can provide for our seniors.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you, Victoria, for your efforts and working with the senior community, and also for coming tonight and taking your time to
Thank
be
you.
here. And I think that I'm sure that all of us would like to be on that ad hoc committee, but there's only going to be 2. I don't know if there's anybody who wants to raise their hand and say, I'd like to volunteer.
Yeah, I guess I would.
I got 1 volunteer.
I'll do it. Though I'm not a senior, I think I can add something to the discussion.
You're
Because
welcome.
one day, God willing, I will be a senior, so.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Awesome,
take
thank you. All right, so we have our 2 members, and hopefully we'll see something come to fruition from that meeting of the members. All right, so let's go ahead and move on now to item 9. We're going to get some updates, starting with 9.1 Capital Improvement Program.
Good evening, Commissioners. As you can see, we've been pretty active the last month, getting some CIP projects going. We finally got the Sun City Median project going. That's going on, I believe, for 2 weeks now. We have Adami Landscape begun the renovation work out there. They started removing concrete and the gravel that's been out there for years. New backflow, new cage around it has been installed. Main line's completed. We, in between one of the two medians that we had to remodel a median turn pocket, bullnose, what's called the bullnose, to move it back to allow some left turns into the Vons, I believe, store. We believe it was the big delivery truck that was going through there, and it was just cutting off that bullnose and just crushed it. So we moved that back, I believe it was 11 feet, 15 feet, and we needed to do that at this time so we can also relocate that main line that was going from one median section to the other. So working with Public Works and the contractor, we all came to an agreement and a price to get that little change order done and to get that moved out so the project can still move on.
Joe, in that same context, can a fire truck make it through all these turn pockets?
Yeah, on this one, yes.
This
And-
one, but
Well,
and
the
down
other
that whole
ones
thing?
too, I believe, there's actually a little bit of engineering, I don't want to say mistake, or something was not done, but maybe Robert can elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, the issue that remains, not in that particular turn pocket, is actually in the drive approaches themselves. They need to re-engineer those approaches. One, for ADA access for pedestrians, but two, then also for fire.
Right, large vehicles, emergency vehicles.
Exactly. So the median is really not the issue. It was only in that one location. And the only thing I'd add to this project that was critical was relocating a crosswalk that was previously on the south side of that turn pocket to the north side. So that, and again, the additional 15 feet not only provides clearance for big trucks to go through, but also makes it wide enough for the crosswalk to be compliant. When it was on the south side, it was actually cut off or dissected by the south side bullnose of the median, meaning someone walking across the crosswalk actually had to come out into traffic in order to continue across the street. And so by shifting it over to the other side where the actual bullnose was shortened, there's full width for folks to walk across safely.
Okay.
Yes. And I might add that this, we were kind of made aware by a phone call from a resident across the street that this crosswalk was an issue, and that kind of made us go look at it. And once we determined that there was something needed to be done with that crosswalk, we got together with the other departments and made that change. And Public Works will go back in there and restripe that crosswalk, and I'm not sure when they'll be doing the sidewalk handicap accessibility up there, but at least that portion is done, and we can still move on with this project. Again, nothing but positive feedback from residents within that area, and the business owners actually have also kind of thanked us for starting that project. Yes. The other project is the CS005 Paloma Wash Trail. We've got our purchase order for the sealing of the cracks and the asphalt slurry once the cracks are filled. Then you can see the schedule. Work is scheduled to start on Monday, May 9th, and it should be for 2 days to fill the cracks, and then the following week for 2 days to re-slurry. That job or that project is going to be kind of a patchwork. They'll move in one section. It's kind of dissected in 4 different sections. The trail itself, if you're familiar with the Paloma Wash Trail, on the east and west side of the trail of the wash itself, and it's dissected by Newport and La Piedra, and then south of Holland. South is Holland, and there's 4 sections in there. So a contractor will do one section, and then close that one section, move to the next section, open the other section up. So residents will have to just kind of follow the moving ball or moving contractors as these 2 repairs are made throughout those 2 weeks. It's on social media as far as the closure, so residents know. We've also put signs at the trails, at the entrances of the trails today, I believe this morning, just to make them aware. So we're just trying to get them so they don't.
This is Menifee, we're good at closures.
Yes, good. So, and we're also, I'm going to solicit some bids to do some striping and more signage for this trail out there. So we'll have the what they call dotted yellow line down the middle and arrows, and then we'll have a walker stencil and a bike biker stencil on each side, so kind of keeps the traffic flow, moving along. And then we have the other project is the CS006, 2 picnic shelters at Peterson Park. The systems were delivered in March. We went out to bid for the installation of the system along with the concrete pads and the footings. And Tot Lot Pros were the winners for a low bid on that project. What we in-house staff will do the demo for the existing picnic shelter that's out there now. We'll do the picnic shelter plus the concrete and footings that will remove those. We'll have to do some root removal also for a tree that's kind of breaking up the concrete out there right now, and put in our root barrier. And Supervisor Mark is going to be running the tractor and turn everything up along with our 3 other staff members and some part-time staff. We'll be doing that in-house to kind of save some money on that. And instead of just having one shelter, we'll end up with 2 shelters, new benches, new trash cans, new barbecues. And we're hoping to get all that done by the end of the month. So
Which park is that?
that's E.L. Peterson. I'm sorry.
So we're replacing the one that's there. Where's the second one going to be in relation?
That's going to be between the old one that exists now and the dog park along the sidewalk. So it'll be further north. Yes. And then we have CS007, the park furnishings CIP. We've got 10 picnic tables and 10 barbecues have arrived. We're waiting for the shipment of 10 8-foot benches and then 10 trash cans and 6 hot coal receptacles. 4 benches were delivered and installed at Lyle Marsh. And we have, we'll be doing 4 more at Lyle Marsh. There's 2 picnic shelters. We've installed 4 tables on one. Staff just finished painting the second shelter, and we'll be putting 4 more in there. So that park now will have 2 usable picnic shelters that weren't there before with the picnic tables. So we're really happy about that. And then we have these CS019, the playground equipment upgrades at Lazy Creek. That installation was scheduled for today, but it was actually installed yesterday. The rubberized surface will follow next week Tuesday. And we have maintenance staff is preparing what I'll call the tot lot area and giving it a little facelift. And Supervisor Cooper will talk about that later on his staff's work on that one. CS025, the AMR skate park fencing modifications, they are complete to the fence. We're waiting for the magnetic locking system on the gate. So that'll be locked and opened up with a timer, so we don't have to have staff going in and out of there, opening and closing the gates in the park itself. Security cameras, we're waiting for Frontier now. It used to be Verizon, and we've been kind of, I guess, in their transition, we've kind of been caught up in that transition. So, go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say that, Joe. For my day job, we're receiving tons of complaints about the transition. Just, maybe as an extra precaution that we can ensure that connectivity will be constant, because the transition from Verizon, people have been complaining, and I know you just mentioned it. So if we can have some certainty that the security cameras will actually be on and operational the whole way through. I don't know what you can do, but
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, it's an important point, and one of the things that we're doing in the background to not have to rely on that is working with some vendors for a point-to-point solution, meaning instead of relying on internet service as a subscription on site, point-to-point actually will use city-owned equipment to shoot an internet signal back to this location or back to our headquarters office. No subscription cost. And a larger bandwidth, meaning the resolution on the cameras can be even higher. So we can get full face recognition, no droppage in signal. That is the ultimate solution. The internet service that we were talking about is just a first step.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're trying to get the cameras up with the internet because we still have a few issues out at the skate park itself. We had one of the panels taken apart that was just installed at the park last week, but the contractor came back out and welded it up, and those two panels won't be removed unless they're cut. Hopefully they stay in place. So those are the few projects here. You can see I've got some pictures as samples of some of the projects there. Top one is the Sun City Median. You can see the backflow and the new cage. Then you also see the turn pocket and the bullnose that was moved back 15 feet, and just an overall look, looking south on Sunset from McCall, the project that's going on. And just some of the furnishings down at Lyle Marsh, the 4 benches and the picnic shelter. And not to talk too much about this, but you can see the picture on the left, what it used to look like. And then the playground equipment at Lazy Creek, picture on the left is what we had. Picture in the center is what we have as of yesterday. And then just a little facelift on the right, and you'll see a little more PowerPoint on that one in a little while. Bottom is the AMR fence completion and the gate, and we'll just wait for the magnetic automatic closer with the timer system, so we don't have to have staff go into the morning and in the evening to lock up the park.
All right, 9-2.
Not much to report here. As you can see, no new movement on many of these projects. Again, I'm going to highlight, though, that project number 13, which is project number 12, which is the Cottonwood Park from Pacific Communities. We actually met with flood control this week regarding the fence line that goes around the basin. As you recall, that park is like a dog leg. It's an awkward shape, and it borders a basin that is owned and maintained by Riverside County Flood. There's a existing fence line that's chain link, and we had required the developer to get some sort of confirmation that the fence was going to be maintained in perpetuity by flood control. Our meeting was good because we found out that they would do that. We just need to make sure we note that on the plan, and that fence line ends up getting treated with a screen of vegetation of some sort. So shrubs, tall shrubs or something, just to provide a better backdrop than just a basin and chain link.
So it's going to stay chain link.
It'll stay chain link, but they'll have to screen it so you won't see the chain link. But yes.
Do they know ahead of time that we prefer tube steel?
They do. This was, I'll call it old. It's old to me because it was here before I started. But this is similar to the basin that's further down Bradley, the big hole in the ground. Been around for a long time, which is kind of the education we got when we met with them. But you'll be happy to know there's some flexibility and usage of those basins, which we'll get into in future meetings. Because we have some ideas now after having a chance to pick their brains. They'll allow a whole lot. The onus then just falls on the city to mitigate use and make sure that it's safe and we keep our costs down.
Okay.
So. But no other updates on future projects at this point.
All right, thank you. 9-3. Fun stuff.
Good evening once again, Commissioners. I'm going to be providing a Recreation Division update. April was a great month for the team. Once again, we had 2 major special events going on. You saw the crowd that we had here to recognize the pitch, hit, and run athletes that are going to be moving on and were the victors of the tournament or the competition. That was I can't express to you enough how great of a day that was for us. I'm not sure if anybody was able to make it out, but really great collaboration with Menifee Pony and Menifee Valley Little League. We were actually going to recognize their volunteers this evening that helped us out. They had over 20 individuals out there that helped out in measuring home run distances, putting balls on tees, chasing balls, shagging balls. I mean, just a really great collaborative effort between the 2 organizations and our community services department. all the athletes that came out did a great job. We didn't have any issues at all, and it was just great to see so many kids come out and be a part of this. We had 75 total registered, and then we had 98 actually show up and compete. And then you saw the winners here today. We actually also sent out thank you emails to all those that came in second and third, just so we give them a certificate as well. So great opportunity, great program there. And then the next Saturday we had our Menifee Better Together event, collaboration between a number of different agencies, but primarily the Habitat for Humanity, Interfaith, Just Serve, and of course the Community Services Department. This year we had over 29 homes that were serviced by over 700 volunteers. So it was just a tremendous outpouring of support from the community. A lot of different organizations helped out, from military institutions to high school groups. Marion Ashley, Supervisor Ashley, was out there helping out as well. So it was just a really great collaboration. We had several sponsors step up and help fund some so that we could have additional projects. So thank you to them. And thank you to all those that came out and participated. It was just a really great day for Menifee. So looking to do more homes next year, and so we'll need more volunteers. So it's usually the third weekend or so in April, so please mark your calendars, because we're going to be calling on everybody for next year to get more homes going. And then on to the Recreation Division side, we had class numbers going up again. We've had a very successful Tiny Tap program going on during the day. That's a class that kids come out with their parents. It's kind of an introduction to tap. Our instructor is great. She's very high energy, and you can see by the fact that our numbers continue to grow in that class. We also started a Parent and Me Taekwondo class in the morning. We have a few kids registered in that, so parents get some activity going on while their kids are doing Taekwondo as well. So exciting classes going on. Over at Case Sinacero Senior Center, as you know, Aisha Jamat Wilson's our new coordinator there, and she's just done an amazing job in her first 60 or so days there. You can just see a lot of excitement going on there with the new programs, a lot of great feedback. We have a group that we meet with there called the Senior Activities Club, and they come out and talk to us about all their likes and dislikes, and the dislikes are pretty minimal. It usually relates to coffee, so we're kind of an ongoing struggle to mitigate that challenge, but they're overall happy with how things are going. We just had a very successful trip to Paula Casino, where 45 seniors went to experience a Dean Martin tribute show, and they also, while they were there, got discounts on the buffet and had a chance to gamble for a little bit as well. So, and the best thing about that trip was it didn't cost us anything other than staff hours. It was a collaboration that Aisha was able to establish with Paula, where they bring seniors out on a bus that they provide, chartered bus, and they get to experience this basically for free, just to introduce them to the casino and hopefully retain their business. So once again, another great collaboration there. And then she's actively planning, you won't see this on your sheet here, but June 17th, there's going to be a senior prom. So complete with paparazzi. So we're going to have a red carpet and people with cameras, flashing photography, and making them feel real special for the evening. So we're excited about that. That's pretty much it for the Recreation Division as far as updates. I believe I have 9.4 also, which is the special events update. So I'll just go ahead and transition into that. We got through with a couple of our events. Now we have a few more coming up. Next on the agenda is our Senior Health and Fitness Fair coming up on May 23rd. That's going to use all the different areas of the Case Sinaceros building, the headquarters, North Annex. We have 52 vendors confirmed that'll be out there that'll be providing information on healthcare, estate planning, blood pressure checks, body density checks, diabetes checks, Alzheimer's, you name it. They're probably going to be out there doing some free screenings. Absolutely no cost to the seniors. There's going to be a lunch provided by Evans Brown Mortuary. So we want to thank them for providing that as well. Each vendor is providing a $20 door prize for seniors that will be able to possibly win if they visit all the booths. So another incentive to get seniors out there. So really excited about that opportunity. That's a collaboration between Gloria Sanchez and I that we've been working on that for a few months now, so we're excited that it's finally coming to fruition. And then, of course, we want to invite everybody to the Memorial Day event over at Wheatfield Park on Memorial Day. We have a couple of new additions to the program. We're going to have a special wreath lane ceremony, and while that's going on, we were able to secure a professional bagpiper. So the bagpiper is going to be playing, and then one of our own staff members, Donald Sharp. Okay, thanks. Yeah, one of our city staff members is going to be playing his trumpet. Sorry, he's going to be playing his playing his trumpet during the event, and then our very own Bruni Reyes is going to be making her second appearance here in Menifee, singing the national anthem. So thanks again to Bruni. Her first appearance was at the fire station groundbreaking last week, so she's definitely going to be in popular demand here coming up. And then we have our family campout. If you guys are interested, June 11th through June 12th, it's literally an overnight event over at La Ladera Park. The staff planning that, Michael and his team over at Lazy Creek, have a lot of great things planned, everything from family games to a evening movie under the stars, and s'mores as well. So we have s'mores at the end of the evening to put everybody to sleep. And then in the morning, we'll have a very light breakfast provided as well. And dinner's provided in the evening also. So great opportunity. It's $13 per person, so it's a pretty good family value because we have stuff going on literally from the start of the event until you wake up the next morning with a morning stretch. Movies in the Park series returns starting June 18th, and that'll go all the way through July 30th. A couple of dates off there just with the Independence celebration on July 2nd and then July 9th. But June 18th through July 30th, our movies this year include Star Wars The Force Awakens, The Sandlot, Good Dinosaur, Inside Out, and Zootopia. The cool thing about this year is our staff are doing a great job of planning themed activities with each of the movies. So for Star Wars, we'll try to have some costumes going on, some role-playing maybe, some picture opportunities for all these as well. The Sandlot, we'll probably go, have a mini wiffle ball competition. So a lot of really cool opportunities for families to go out and experience not just the movie, but also some active opportunities to get engaged and experience that as a whole. And then, of course, the big event, our Independence Celebration on Saturday, July 2nd. Want to point out that the start time of the actual event is 4 p.m. So we'll be kicking off, it's 1 hour earlier, and that's the kickoff to the music, the kids zone, the free arts and crafts, things like that. The parade will still start at 5, the parade ran by the Lake Menifee Women's Club, but the event itself is starting at 4. And as I mentioned last meeting, the fireworks show this year is going to be one that you will not want to miss. More room for people to enjoy a little bit closer up version of it. Bigger show, longer show, bigger mortars. And we're actually shooting the fireworks off the open field over at Bell Mountain Middle School. So it's the first time we've been able to secure that location, so we're working with the school district on that. And again, another thank you to Paradise Chevrolet for their very generous contribution to this event to help us make it bigger and better. That's all I have this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Yes, has there been in the past or in the present any focus on activities for teens?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. At Lazy Creek Rec Center, we have a teen program. We've dabbled in some teen programming there. Unfortunately, it hasn't been as successful as we've wanted it to be. So we're trying to go to the schools. Our coordinator there is working on some off-site programming that we're trying to develop for next school year. But most of our programs are open to teens, so our summer camp, which starts June 6th, is open to teens as well. So there are opportunities. Unfortunately, thus far, we haven't had a great response from the teen community. One avenue that we use to try to market to those kids, though, is we have a youth advisory committee, and it's a group that has to apply to be a part of this committee. We train them on, how to be proper government, protocol and things. And they actually go to their schools and market some of our events. This year we had representation of all the high schools here, including Santa Rosa. So we hope to expand that group to provide additional outreach for the programs that we do offer.
Robert?
If I can add something on the Independence Celebration, and I'm trying to recall how much information we gave you at the last meeting. This is really a new step forward in the event planning and partnership with the school district. You may or may not remember in prior years we did try to have a partnership with the school district and just weren't having a lot of luck. This year we were able to, and that is really thanks to the superintendent for opening those gates and allowing us to use the middle school's campus to do the launching of those fireworks. It provides more space in the park, and when I say more, I mean a full 1.5 baseball fields more. And if you've gone to the event, you know how crowded it can be. Oh yeah, and so that's critical, and of course the increase in the shells and everything else that comes with it. It is truly a signature event for us.
Excellent.
and Robert helped me trigger another partnership that is a crucial part of what we're doing, especially events this summer. We're able to establish a partnership with Romoland School District as well. We're going to be showing one of the movies at one of their school sites. We're still working on securing that site. We had one originally in mind, but it turns out they're doing some turf repairs on that school site, so we're looking for the best option. But we've been working with Dr. Vitale and her team on trying to get more programming out to the Romoland folks, and we're starting with this avenue, which is a great idea to do that because it's very out in the open. You can't miss it if you're driving by, and we'll be doing a ton of marketing in that community to make sure we start to get those guys out to our events.
All right, thank you. Let's go to 9.5.
Good evening. I'm going to defer this to Supervisor Cooper.
Thanks, Joe. You know, it's kind of ironic. Good evening, commissioners. But, you know, I'm thinking now we're almost a year out. I mean, starting July 1, 2015, here we are less than 2 months till we're 1 year old here. A lot of work's gone in. So anyway, let me just give you an update. We're a little behind on our completion ratio. We've had a lot of extra projects we've been doing. We're sitting at 87% for the month, and we're 96% for the year. So we've done 711. We've received 711 work orders, and we've completed 683 since July 1st. You know, flip over here. I'll give you an idea here. This is the staff right up here in the pictures. The old area, we saw cut all of this out, and you can see Bryce and Kenny's learning cement work a little bit. But I even got out there and poured. I'm holding the chute on the back of the truck, so we all got involved in this one. And like you can see, they repainted the track that was from way back. And we're getting ready to do this cover, the shade cover. We have some rot in there. We're going to be replacing that in a couple of weeks, putting some new boards and making everything good on that. See, we just did all the seeds popping up really nice over at the soccer field at AMR. And the gazebos at Marsh Park are looking great. You can see them hydro seeding in here. Everything's really good. And I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, if I might add, just pleased with the staff that we have and all the extra work that they've been doing. You know, since I've been on board, we've done some of these CIP projects, and the staff has been doing a lot of the prep work before the contractors will come in. Like Mike was saying before, the Lazy Creek playground area, we had to make the fall zone a little larger to accommodate the new playground in there. You can see the new playground down on the bottom right. And they came in and saw cut, took the old stuff out, got the new area prepped and the soil there ready to go, got the concrete, they finished the concrete, and then at the bottom, the little facelift we did, as you can see the photo on the left, we took off the pads and then we painted the poles as primary colors because we're going to have 2 to 5 year olds in there. We want something cheerful, something to look at. Mark's staff also painted up the track there with new black paint, new yellow striping, the foursquare in the forefront in the picture there. It's not painted yet, and it's kind of hard to see that it is painted, but it's really, really nice. Again, Mark's staff painted the wrought iron fence. It's all brand new, nice and shiny.
Yeah, sorry about that, Joe. I didn't see the fence, but yeah, it really came out nice. So we're 8 to 10 years, we'll be good. So just trying to get some things squared up around.
You know, just again, this is to partner up with my partner of their recreation and their team. They're going to do the Tot Lot program or the Tiny Tot program, and I think their open house is May 19th. So that was our goal to get this done for them. So, you know, when their new program starts, you know, they have a really nice place to showcase the families that want to participate in that. But again, I just want to, you know, really thank Mark for his expertise and the 3 crew members that we have, and we have part-time staff. And on Thursdays we have work release that we, you know, that we use on all these projects because the three guys, I'm sure they can do this, but they couldn't get to do their daily stuff that they do. So I've been using, I've been using them for quite a bit on all this stuff, just like, the AMR, they had to do all the flagging. We aerated and then went in there, put sand and topper before we hydroseeded. And they had to, program the clock. And the picture on the right, you see where the seed is finally popping and, looking good. We got the construction fence around that, has not been compromised, so everything's looking good. And again, another great project of staff. The picnic shelters at my Lyle Marsh started with CityServe. They went in there, scraped it, and put in the primer. They couldn't find time to reschedule to come in and do the coat of paint. So Mark's crew came in there. We painted up the one that we got the 4 tables in, which was a time-sensitive thing because we got the benches in on Wednesday that we had to offload the truck by hand. And then, that was Thursday. So Friday they had to put 4 of them together and set them up at the picnic shelter Friday.
Because somebody reserved it prior to the
Yes.
tables being, but no,
So,
it all worked out.
But unfortunately, the lady canceled, but it was a good drill.
Yeah.
It all worked out great. And it's just another great example of the parks maintenance staff, bringing these 2 picnic shelters to life. We'll be putting, like I said, 4 more tables on the other picnic shelter next week.
Now, we're looking to add some LED lights, maybe solar at the marsh to give them a little bit of light at night, so, anyway. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, and just thinking about it and looking at this. In the future, when these shade structures, new ones come along, is there any way to do like everybody else is doing and make those solar panels? Do they even make something like that? I know they do it for parking lots.
Well, I was with the County of Riverside prior, and at the parks, we would put the structures up, and we actually had a solar panel up on top, and then the light came through, and that's how we actually lit. Unless we had electric, and it was accessible really easy. But it was really something else. I was telling them earlier today, we flipped it, and it was indirect light, and it just illuminated the whole thing, so.
Yeah, I see them all up and down the freeway and everywhere where they can
Yeah.
be appropriate, it would seem like a good idea to look at that.
This one had a lot of, Lyle Marsh had a lot of vandalism back in
Oh, yeah.
the days, and we put the security lights up just to help out, pointed towards the school, and it did help, but,
good way to
kids were
pay-
just, they were destroying concrete tables, and it was just terrible, so,
But anyway, maybe a good way to pay for the electric bill.
there you go. All right.
I got a quick one for you. Earlier, you guys mentioned over at Pete Peterson Park, you're going to be demoing the existing shade gazebo, I guess, that's there, and putting up 2 new ones. Is there anything salvageable? Does that have a steel top or anything like that that can be reused?
No, the wooden one, it's got rot on it, so that one's going bye-bye. And then the cement's coming out. We'll try to salvage some of the tables, but they're actually, the poles go directly in with footings into the slab, so. And that's the same down at the other one too. The slab and the tables will come out. If we can, we'll try to salvage them, but we're trying to do it economically to have the equipment for one day, and we got dumpsters, roll-offs lined up. We're really trying to coordinate this, so we'll try to salvage anything that we can, maybe for other areas or something.
I was just curious. Sometimes
We'll try.
on the metal roof, sometimes they can be.
Yeah,
reused.
this is the one where the kids kept ripping off the shingles, and then the water would get in there, and it's pretty much shot.
Got it.
So,
Thank you very much, Mr.
All right.
Cooper. Appreciate that. I think it takes us to 9.6, LAFCO detachment application update.
Yeah, not much has changed other than that the full draft of the application's been completed and turned in to our city management, and it's being reviewed. City attorney and city manager should have their notes back anytime now, and it'll be submitted to LAFCO shortly thereafter. Timeline is still the same, though. 4 to 5 months to get on their agenda. It could be earlier depending on the availability and what's on their agendas. And then a 3 to 6 month transition period after they've made a determination. Still looking for a March 2017 assumption of responsibilities.
Got it. Awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's go to item 10 now, commissioner reports. Anybody got anything, Marty?
Not really.
I'll have a couple.
I should,
Go ahead.
I keep forgetting. For anyone who's interested, the Fifth District is having a voluntary appreciation breakfast awards on the 19th at 8 o'clock in the morning at Morongo. And anyone who wishes to attend should, well, first contact Robert to see if he has rooms, but if he doesn't, then you would have to buy a ticket. Tickets are $25, including breakfast. So, just point of information. The city does have 2 tables and has someone that is going to receive an award. The Fifth District has 6 cities and 3 MACs, so there are going to be quite a few awards.
Awesome.
Okay.
Tom?
Yeah, actually, Marty was there too. He and I were at the new groundbreaking for the firehouse that's going to be put up.
I keep
And,
forgetting these things, yeah.
Congratulations, Bruni, great job. And after that was over with, it dawned on me we ought to have a time capsule. I mentioned this to Robert, and I'd like to suggest it again, and I would like to suggest that the Youth Advisory Committee oversee the project. I think it'd be great for the kids to get out and decide what ought to go in there by visiting with the various groups within our city limits, the seniors, the veterans, the schools, the council. It would be a good experience for both them and the other folks to talk about it and come up with something we could put there for future, since it's the first building that the city of Menifee actually is constructing. So I want to put that out there and mention it in front of this group too, see if we get some traction on that.
I think it's a good idea.
I also wanted to ask if we're anywhere with the monuments going up for the historical markers.
I can give you an update.
Yeah, we do. In fact, first on your other recommendation, it sounds like you'd like to add that to agenda for final or formal
Yeah, we can make a
consideration.
recommendation,
So
sure.
if there's a second to have that placed on the agenda, we can do
I'll
that at the
second
next
it.
meeting.
Marty?
Okay.
Perfect. And
Sounds
then
good.
Joe can give an update on the historical monuments.
Yeah, the historical monuments, I've got the wordings for the plaques from Commissioner Zimmerman. Trying to locate the city logo on Vector. We still have not had any luck yet, so, the seal, I'm sorry, and but that's the only thing I'm waiting for. So, the vendor's waiting for us to get that over there, and he can start shooting us over a price. I kind of told him where he needed to be, so hopefully he's gonna
Hopefully
come
he'll
back.
be in.
Who made that?
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's original.
It just appeared.
Whoever made that has a vector file.
That's what we thought.
Yeah, so I've been, again, in communication with Commissioner Zimmerman and the vendor, his name is Tim, over at Outdoors Creations. So we're still moving, we're trying to get something set so we can, get these on order and get them delivered and put in. But yeah, we're still moving along. I know that that's one of the goals that we want to do is make sure we still keep moving this along so we can get
Right,
this
don't
in.
lose sight of it.
Right,
Sounds
no.
good. One other question.
Actually, I do, and I also just called the Mott family just to let them know that we're going to put one in there. Maybe they might want to pick a location within that street right of way to kind of go with their
their
decor,
museum.
their museum.
Sounds good. Thank you. One other thing, I remember some mention, Robert, about moving the dog park to a different corner of Pete Peterson with these new shelters going in, maybe the dogs, and they should be further apart.
That will be part of the 2016-17 CIP that you will review, if not next meeting, the meeting after. And as I think I might have mentioned prior, there was a offer of sponsorship by Paradise Chevrolet to underwrite some of the costs associated with the improvements. And so we've met with them a couple times now and are sort of zeroing in on what those improvements will be. But we intend to move that project forward in 16-17.
Okay.
So it's coming. And there is enough separation between the two. In fact, the improvement calls to shift the dog parks over closer to the street because the park alignment currently matches an old street alignment that doesn't exist anymore. And so this would swing it back parallel with Murrieta. So there's quite a bit of, I know it's probably 50 feet off of the current right-of-way shoulder, so.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so we're still on commissioner comments. Let's take it over to Commissioner Holcomb. You have anything to add?
No, except to say that I'm happy to be here. Yeah, thank you for welcoming
We're
me.
glad you're here. Yep.
I'm good.
Okay, I don't have anything either, so. Future agenda requests, are we looking pretty good with what we got?
Yeah, the only one that I'll add on there, if it's okay with the group, is the 2016-17 fiscal year CIP for review and consideration.
And you anticipate that one coming to us?
Safely, I'll say it'll be June, the first meeting in June.
Thank you.
Also, if I can add or mention that I did confirm Shannon Chamberlain for next month. She will be here.
Great. And I'm sorry I missed you singing, so I'll try to make the next one.
There'll be other opportunities.
You know, we could always ask her to practice.
Put- Yeah. All right, so with that, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.